Thanks for joining Sales with Suli, a mom of three who spent the last 12 summers knocking doors. Welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things women, the ups and downs of my journey, and what it takes to find success on and off the doors. Enjoy this episode. Hey, welcome back, friends, to this week's episode of Sales with Suli. I'm kind of excited about today's guest, Makenna. No, it's not Hall anymor.
Halls, yeah.
Okay,
it was Wingert Halls.
Okay, why do I feel like I've always just felt like I've known you as Makenna Hall? Okay, Makenna is freaking like this phenomenal like female leader in like the pest control industry, and I'm like so grateful that she was able to make time to show up today, just because I know that there's a ton of women who are doing pest control. And so to be able to have someone that you guys can reach out to and things like that, I'm like super stoked to have her on the show this week. But Kenna, go ahead and give us a little bit of background about you, like how long you've been in the space, like, and now I'm just kind of intrigued on how old you are because you're still a baby to me.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm 25 right now. I almost said 26, but not 26 yet. So I started back with Active in 2019. So I graduated high school in 2000.
Wait, so how many years is that?
About 4 years.
4 years you've been in door to door. Okay.
Yeah, so this will be my fifth summer, this upcoming one.
Wow.
So, yeah, fifth long, good summer.
She's so, like, the summers are good because now you're just hanging out and you're just playing with friends is really what you're doing, right?
I wish. Gotta get one more hard one. But yeah, so I graduated in 2016, served a mission for my church, came back.
I didn't know you served a mission. Where did you serve a mission?
I served in Honduras.
She just got cooler.
Thanks. So served in Honduras. I came back, went to a semester of school, and then I was engaged. And my husband and his friend, just from their mission, his friend was Mark Wilmore, and Mark reached out to my husband and basically said, hey, you should come sell pest control. And long story short, my husband basically was like, yeah, I'll go sell. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do in Houston, Texas, but I know I don't want to wait tables. And I do not want a just regular hourly wage job. So I ended up just saying, hey, I'll sell too. And most of the people, pretty much everyone was just like, all right. Well, I don't know. The wives don't usually do super well, so we'll see. But I was destined to prove them wrong, and that was a major chip on my shoulder. And I was like, I literally am going to blow all of you out of the water. I told my older brother that, who actually now sells with me. Yeah.
Wait, so did your older brother like sell with you that year too?
He did not, no. So it was actually just my husband, Mitch, and I. And my older brother, Easton, had actually sold for Altera back in 2012.
Like 2009.
I was literally in high school and I was like, door-to-door sales, what's that?
Wait, so how long had you and Mitch been married? Like your whole door-to-door career?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
We started together.
Why did I think? Okay, I'm glad that. I mean, I'm all just thinking like, oh, newlywed, like, oh, this fun, exciting thing. But you guys have been doing it together this whole time.
Yeah, we got married April 19th and went to Mexico for a few days and drove to Houston and started knocking on May 1st.
Oh my gosh. So tell me about that. Like, so you guys had gotten married. You had no door-to-door experience. So you were 20 at the time.
I was about 22.
Oh, when you started. So like what kind of like training or like what did you do to basically get like that you decided, hey, I'm going to blow everyone out of the water? Like what did you do to get you there? Yeah.
So first things first was, I think a lot of it started also when I was growing up and just kind of the mentality that my parents always raised us with. I feel super lucky for that. I was always really into athletics, track and field, soccer. And it was just the thing in our family that it was, if you're going to do something, don't do it halfway.
Yep.
And if you want to do it halfway, I guess that's fine. That's totally up to you as long as you're happy. But if you're actually going to do it right, do it good, and we're going to work super hard.
I love that.
Yeah, and so I was just super used to, I ran the 400, and so I wanted to break records with that. I really wanted to go long jump, actually, in college. I wasn't good enough to do the 400 in college, so I worked extremely hard. So I feel like that really translated into, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the best.
Yeah, you're going to do it right.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right, and I don't care if it takes extremely hard work. It's obviously going to be hard, and there's going to be rough days, but I'm going to do it. So then leading up to the summer, I was going to school full-time. I was pursuing a nursing degree at the time, and I just made sure that I showed up to the training meetings. So I just memorized the pitch, and I didn't do anything super special, but I think the one thing that I did do was, you go to I started in Texas in Houston.
Okay.
And so for the first week, you've got to go through what you call basically truck training or service pro training, you know, for Texas state licensing. Yep. And I was like, if I'm sitting in a truck for 4 days, I'm going to see how many times I can read this training manual.
Wow.
I'm like, I could watch movies on my phone. I could, I don't know, scroll on Instagram.
Basically do anything but train.
Yeah. But I was just like, I've got to get prepared. I pretty much convinced myself that this was going to be the hardest thing I had ever done in my entire life. Wow. And kind of freaked myself out a little bit. So I wanted to be as prepared as possible. So I read the training manual 3 times before I knocked my first door.
Even before you knocked your first door. Yeah. Like, I think people, like, they do not take that, like, seriously. That's just not like, hey, like, I've read it once. Like, hey, I know the pitch. I'm good. Like, whatnot.
I've been good at this. I've been good at that.
Yes. But you literally read it, you said 4 times before you even knocked your first door.
Yeah. And then I just knew I was an extremely hard worker. And so I just said, I will be the person that works the hardest on my entire team. I don't care. I'll take a short lunch. And that was me, my poor husband. I was always just like, let's go. He's like, I'm not even done eating yet. I'm like, I got to go. I got to get back on the doors. Yeah. So that's kind of how it started.
So how did you end your first summer, like between you and your husband?
Yeah. So my husband, he ended up servicing about 110 accounts.
Wow.
I did 303 serviced accounts that summer.
Your very first summer, not having any door-to-door experience whatsoever, and you were married. Like, let's chat about that dynamic, because a lot of times what happens, like, in this space for us as women, we get married or we have kids and it's like, we're done. We're like, no, this is kind of just for the guys. But you've been married your whole door-to-door career. Like, how have you and your husband been able to, like, find balance and kind of, like, make that work for you guys? Because a lot of people who are dating or in relationships, they're just talking about, like, the challenges that brings, like, all the time.
Yeah. I would say it's become our greatest strength, to be honest, as far as really developing our relationship. Our first summer, we had to do everything together. You know, people talk about how there's not much time and I don't have time to do laundry or, you know, cook dinner or whatever. And I'm like, hey, we get that, you know, as much as anybody. Because you get up, you're both tired. You know, you both have to go to your training meeting. You both have to go knock doors. And then you both get home. And guess what? The laundry still needs to be done. Someone's still got to cook dinner.
Yeah.
The dishes still have to be done. But you're both in the same situation. And so we just worked together on all of it. And it was the best thing we could have ever done for our relationship. Number one, because we knew, first off, that we were a team. Wow. Right? And yeah, there's friendly competition there sometimes. Yeah. But we just knew once we hit the doors, if it was something personal going on, we weren't going to text each other. Because there's a distraction. Yeah. And we were both there to work super hard, and it was just super supportive. And so our relationship just became stronger because of that. Wow. And something that we looked back on and cherished, and obviously super hard in some ways, you know, even with some competition there sometimes. It can be hard to either see, you know, your spouse crushing it or your spouse struggling. Yep. You know, and just having to work through that and recognize that every single person has their own gifts and talents. And Mitch is my great's asset. He's my numbers guy. He's the best with spreadsheets. He's an extremely good recruiter. Yeah. He still has, so he's now finishing up a mechanical engineering degree and has other business ideas that he's pursuing. So he's no longer knocking with me. He stopped back in, 2021.
Oh my gosh. But he's just been there right with you.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Some of our best friends and some of his best friends are still on my teams and Mark Wilmore and different people that we work with. And so I still go to him for a lot of advice, and he's my backbone. So all my questions and everything else had nothing. Like, now I'm just like fascinated. Yeah. It's just like, I am not the only one out there in this space where it's like been married for a billion years. And it's just like the hubby is pursuing something else, but right there to support you, like, you know, hand and foot and kind of like whatever it was that you needed. So what were like some things? So your first year you did 300 freaking accounts, having no door-to-door sales experience, like whatsoever. What I wanted to get into, a lot of women are wanting to build teams. They're wanting to recruit. They're wanting to grow. But I feel like some of us are just kind of like, hey, that's not fair. Like the guys get this, like, why not me? I kind of want to know like your story on how did you get to be a divisional? Like, you were one of the few women in the space who, 4 years, you're currently a divisional, you have recruits, you have multiple teams. What are some things that you did to get there? Obviously it wasn't handed to you. Like you had to do stuff. Yeah, not at all. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the biggest thing is going to be time for sure. But then also seeing the vision. I remember my first summer, kind of funny, my mother-in-law, we took a little break to go to a family reunion our first summer. And she asked me, she said, hey, obviously you're doing really well, but, you know, do you really like it? And I said, I don't know. If I have to knock one more summer, I think I'll just get pregnant. But then Sully's not getting pregnant, right?
Yes.
But for me, I'm like,
every time.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened was we finished up our first summer, and I just have always loved self-improvement. I've loved being able to push myself, and obviously I love being really good at something.
Yeah.
And just really dialing into that, and that kind of being my baby a little bit, and just growing that. So, and then I got my paycheck, and then I was like, oh man.
Yes. Every time December comes around, that's how they get you.
Oh,
like, I sign up again.
Though. Yep, exactly. And everything fades away. That was really hard. You're like, oh, this was great, you know?
Yeah.
So then I really started thinking, and at the time, my regional manager, you know, in re-signing meetings, he basically just said, you know, Makenna, I really think that you could be a team leader and lead a team. And I just remember being like, there is no way that I could lead a team, especially with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like there wouldn't be the respect there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not a knock against the people I worked with. I've always been given extremely high respect and have loved the people that I've worked with and have had no issues there. But just from my own, you know, personal thoughts and feelings and discomforts and lack of confidence in that. And then I finally just said, you know, I'm just going to give it a shot. And at that time, Mitch was working with me recruiting as well. And I thought, hey, we could do this together. Yeah, he was kind of like my comfort there, which I can get into that a little bit later as far as breaking out of that as well. But so yeah, I started recruiting, and then I went to a women's event where I saw you, and then another lady, Amber Elison, and I thought...
Amber's amazing at recruiting.
Yeah, totally. And I just thought, man, okay, if they can do it, I could do it too.
Yeah.
And so I made a game plan, and I said, I want to have a family as well, but I personally don't want to knock doors with my family.
Yeah.
It's just hard. You're incredible to juggle that. It's amazing.
It's hard.
Yeah. And so I thought, if I can bust my butt for 5 years and literally give it everything that I have and build teams and recruit and produce as much revenue as possible, then maybe I can, you know, have a family and do this as a mom and be able to step off of the doors, but still manage my teams, travel out to my teams in the summertime, and, you know, have it be a full-blown career. Yeah. And so I just
you're on year 5. So what is this upcoming year going to be looking like? So do you get to focus on that and just kind of like travel and train, or will you be like knocking still? Yeah.
So this is going to be my last summer. I'm actually going for my biggest summer. So that wasn't the plan, but plans change. Yeah. And so I want to produce 500,000 personally.
500. So like
revenue.
Okay. I like when I left, I'm like, it wasn't based on. So like, what does that look like as far as like accounts for those who, you know, aren't based off of like revenue? Yeah.
So it's got to be anywhere from doing, you know, obviously 500 accounts at $1,000 contract value. Yeah. Which my biggest summer in accounts has been 453.
Wow.
So
but 500, 500,000, you'll be in Golden Door.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's 650.
Is it?
For pest. I think I could be wrong on that.
I don't know. Fuss and Sam.
Yeah. I've never really, I'm going to get a Golden Door. But
hey, okay, this is going to be the year. Like you're going for 500. Like I think it is. I don't know. Whatever it is, this is going to be your biggest year, and you're going out with a freaking bang.
Yeah, so I want to do that, and then in my downline, I'd like to produce at least 6 million. I'd love to stretch to 7 million, but
so how many teams do you currently have that you've basically like built?
Currently 2 full. We usually have pretty big teams, so currently 2.
That is so okay. So obviously when you first started, it was you and the hubby. So how did that dynamic work that now he's like kind of like phased out? So did you guys do like the recruiting together? Like how is it now that like this will be your first summer knocking without him, right?
So it was last summer, and he's gone out with me every single summer.
Okay, but just not knock with you.
Yeah, so 2021, he knocked a half summer, and then he was a technician. So that was kind of fun. Also,
my husband was a technician
servicing some of my accounts. That was pretty good. People loved that. They ate that up. Yeah. And then last summer, he strictly worked from home and just did school fully online. So that was his first summer really just fully stepping back. And then this year as well. So occasionally he'll say, hey, I have a lead for you, or hey, you should contact this person, or I sent out a bunch of I don't know, questionnaires or different things for you, just because he's thoughtful like that and knows that we're really building. But
and it's both for like the same household. Like I love that a lot of people like, if they are married or dating, it's just kind of like this competition, but you guys have found a way to like make it build. And it's just like one more freaking solid year for you to be able to step off of the doors. But kind of what I want you to share or with other people in this space, because obviously people don't want to do door to door forever. I'm like weird and I love this space and I'm just like fascinated like by it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. But door to door is basically a vehicle for a lot of other things. Like share some of the things that you've been able to create and do because of door to door. Like if being a female in this space doesn't mean that you can't go and like invest and do other things.
Totally, 100%. So, and that's a really big thing within our region and the people that I work with is real estate investing. And I know you've done some of that yourself and then having multiple streams of income.
1,000%.
Yeah, I definitely see myself having different businesses or different things that I want to do outside of just the door to door space, you know, while still doing it and running teams. But
so have you kind of just done like real estate or like invested in like any smaller things or?
Yeah. So we've started a couple different investments, and of course some investments go well and other investments tank and hit the ground, which is just part of it. So we've done a little bit of that, but we just have one door and we rent that out in the summertime as an Airbnb. And then
does it pay for like a lot of your expenses? It does. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
See, that's what I love.
Yeah. It paid for all of our rent, everything for the summer, which was awesome, and a little bit more. So that's awesome. And then obviously want to buy a lot more real estate and just waiting for this crazy like whirlwind to, I don't know,
interest rates and everything else. It's been kind of fun. I don't know. For me, a lot of people like they see the rate increases and people want to kind of like wait. And I'm like, now's the time to basically like buy and sit back and wait.
Yeah.
But you being freaking like 25 years old, already having a door, multiple teams, like planning for your like biggest years, like I can't imagine like what your kids are going to say. Like when they look back, like mom was doing like XYZ. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask you are, what are some things that you feel like women should know or kind of like focus on if they're wanting to get into the door-to-door space? If they're just like, hey, like I've heard about this, I'm not really like sure that this could be a career or like pay my bills. Like what's some advice that you would leave for women who want to get in this space?
Yeah. Biggest thing that I would say is if you're going to do it, go all in.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad to see someone that could do extremely well and they don't burn the boats, you know, and they keep them there.
Yeah.
And I get that. That's super hard. But, you know, for me, I was pursuing a nursing degree and had worked super hard in school I wanted pretty much perfect grades and I got that and everything. And then I applied for my program and I just weighed out all of my options. And I said, okay, nursing's a great career. And I still think that there's different parts of it that I would really enjoy.
Yeah. If
I ever went back to nursing school or something like that.
At least you always have it.
Yeah,
like, if
exactly.
you needed it.
Yeah. And so I ended up dropping out of school, which was a scary thing. You know, I come from a family that most people go to college and you get a college degree. And my dad called me one day and he just said, I really think you should reconsider your degree or you need to get out of college as fast as you can. And that for me was still a little scary because I'm like, I don't really, okay. But, you know, it's just different than what I had always seen myself doing as far as getting just a solid bachelor's degree. And I still think that's amazing.
Yeah.
But I had to kind of let go of that belief and just recognize, you know what, I am working towards being able to be a stay-at-home mom for a really long time because of the hard work that I put in over the next 5 to 10 years, you know, and it's not going to be perfect and, you know, because you fail and you readjust and you figure things out. But
and the doors aren't leaving. Say you're bored one year after having kids, like, hey, I'll go knock, you know, I'll go knock for 8 weeks.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. So that, and then I would just say, you know, take a chance on yourself. I remember just feeling like, I don't even know if I can do this. And there's still some times that I still think, man, we just got hit hard with this, or our goals aren't adding up. Or I don't really know how this is actually going to end up at the end of the year or midway through the summer. But my favorite quote, and I feel like what I've really just lived my past 4 to 5 years by is hard days are the best because that is when champions are made. And so that was, Gabby Douglas is who said that in an Olympics. She was a gymnast. I think in like 2008 or something like that. And I remember watching an interview. I think I was still in high school at the time, and I just loved that quote. And I've seen that time and time again in door-to-door sales, that my hard days, the ones when I want to give up and the ones when I think I can't do it, or I'm not confident, or I've bageled, or one more summer, here we go. Hard days are the best, because that is when a champion is made, and I'm a champion in the making.
Yeah. And along like with that, like there are women right now who are knocking like year round, or some women who are still doing who are doing postseason. What's some advice that you would give to women who are currently like struggling mentally or emotionally when it does come to this job? Because it is freaking hard. And yes, we're like, yeah, you're going to be made XYZ. You're going to be awesome. You're going to learn. You're going to grow from it. But what are like some tips that you would give for women to get out of a funk or get out of like those bad days?
Yeah, totally. First things first, I would go back to your good days, whether you have a video or a voice recording, and watch that. Yeah. Stop watching someone else do it. Go back to when you've been crushing it and watch yourself do it.
I love that.
And step back into that. I've had to do that. There's a particular pitch video that I watch of myself on the hard days.
I love that.
It's my favorite videos for my second summer, and I'll just pull that out and I just say, remember that, Makenna.
Yeah.
Go back to that, Makenna.
I don't think enough of us are doing that. Like myself included. Like we're always just watching like people who are awesome and who are the best. Like why aren't we learning from ourselves?
Yeah. So kind of funny. My first summer, I never watched a video of someone else. Not once.
You just had the pitch, you just did your own thing and you just went.
Yeah, I worried that I would try and be someone else, and I've tried to do that in my life different times. I just knew it wouldn't work. Wow. And I just knew I'd get inside my head, and so I only critiqued my own pitches, and I just said, I'm going to become the best Makenna that I can. And then my second summer, I did break into other videos and then learned a ton from other people. Yeah. But sometimes I'm like, man, maybe I should have. But at the same time, I'm really grateful that I didn't. Yeah. Because I wasn't trying to be someone different. I was trying to be me.
I've like got the chills, just like so many like golden nuggets from that. And kind of just, like you're not competing with anyone else but yourself. Like you're focusing like on your videos. These are some like awesome tips that a lot of us women should be doing like in this space. Like I am fascinated by you, Makenna. Like I give you like so much props for everything that you're doing, like to be running multiple teams, to be like a divisional, to be like out there, like have this planet. 25 years old, you've done like 4 years under your belt and one more like awesome year. For those of you women like out there who are in pest control or who are wanting to get into pest control and kind of like looking for someone to get like feedback from or interested in pest control whatsoever, definitely hit up Makenna. Like tell us where we can your Instagram handle, where we can actually like get a hold of you, like all the good stuff.
Yeah, so it's at Kenna, KENNA_Halls.
At Kenna_Halls.
Yep,
okay,
you got it.
Her fifth summer. You just completed fifth summer.
Fourth summer.
Okay.
Yeah, so this will be my fifth summer coming up.
Completed 4 summers in door-to-door. 25 has 1 more year to go for those of you guys who are interested in getting into pest control. Like if you know Kenna or could get in her circle, you'll be one blessed human being. Like thanks for hopping on the show. I'm super stoked for people to be able to get some of these nuggets from you. Until next time, ladies, we'll see you then. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. If I've added any kind of value to your thoughts on knocking doors, please share this podcast with another female rep. Until next time, know that you are capable, you are valued, and most importantly, you are enough.